All right. I'm going to do a Josh cast today. Start with the daily bowel update. I keep not eating healthy, and then I keep having bad bowel movements. It's a constant cycle of stupidity. So I've got that morning post painful BM feeling. I just don't understand why this podcast is not catching on fire with these kind of topics. I'm also dealing with a parallel parking situation. I'm boxed in by these two minivans, or a minivan in front of me and an SUV behind me. These two massive cars that probably carry families with children who'll grow up to be dicks. There's nothing like a fresh morning start. Look at the size of that dog. My God. That is a gigantic dog. I think it's a poodle. I don't think... Maybe poodles can understand English, but I don't think a poodle would want to call itself a poodle. Poodle! We don't call ourselves poodles. We call ourselves curly-haired hunters. For some reason, the poodle has a very bad British accent. And then really, is a curly-haired hunter a better name than a poodle? A curly-haired hunter. I like that. I am Hunter with the curly hair. This is my trusty companion. Tiny dog who really shouldn't exist. Hey, I'm a Chihuahua, all right? I'm okay with my name. You're not okay with your name. That's whatever. Truck making a left turn. It's a company truck. Generator service. They service generators. You know, up until today, I had absolutely no idea that that was a thing. And now that I see that, it makes total sense. Of course there would be a company that would service generators. Generators need to be serviced just like any other piece of technology. It reminds me of that, was that movie Robots? That animated movie? And the big thing they kept saying was, see a need, fill a need. See a need, fill a need. There's nobody around here who can fix these generators. I'll start a generator repair service. And that's how Roger Clamperton started his own business. He would be named Roger Clamperton. I don't know if that's a real name, but it should be. Roger Clamperton, the curly-haired hunter. See, there I go, tying it all together. And a nice little comedy bow for you. I was very depressed this morning, and then I meditated, and I'm still depressed. It's not entirely true. I'm a tenth less depressed than I was before I meditated. So I think it's been either raining at night or it's been very dewy, but they're the raindrops. Which reminds me of the song Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head. But that doesn't mean I still would da 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 dee 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 dee. This is Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Were they all sleeping together? Or was she strictly Robert Redford's girlfriend? I feel like they were all sleeping together. I could be totally wrong. But I definitely got that vibe. And you know what? That's fine. I'm not judging. And then I thought it was strange that they had a bicycle when I was watching that movie. And I thought they didn't have bicycles in the Old West, did they? But I think they did. I don't know. Did they have bicycles in the Old West? They probably did. I don't think the sheriff was as menacing if he was riding a bicycle, especially if he had a little bell. That's Wyatt Earp. Ring, ring! Yeah, that really kind of kills the mood there. You better take your posse and get out of here immediately. You hear, Sonny? Ring, ring! Ring, ring! Yeah, that just doesn't work for a Western. The wild, wild West can only be so wild if you are experiencing it on a bicycle. Then it becomes the tame West, I think, at that point. By the way, can I just say, speaking of Wild Wild West, I enjoyed the movie. The Will Smith movie that everyone jokes about. Oh, it's such a terrible... Blah, 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 blah. I thought it was fine. Giant mechanical spider? Yes! More, please. It does involve steampunk, which I think steampunk... My understanding of steampunk is that you basically... It is kind of science fiction. It is science fiction to a degree. But it's as if the late 1800s, it's like it takes place in the future, as if the technology of the late 1800s, that I think that technology is what remains. That technology becomes locked, and they use the power of steam to create new and more advanced things. So steam cars, steam trucks, steam trains, steam jets, steam robots. Everything is just steam powered. Hence steampunk. Steam powered cell phones. They scald to the touch. It's really... People hate them, but you can't live without them either. That's the trouble. But I think that's essentially steampunk. Ultimately, I think the appeal of steampunk is that it looks cool, like a steam-powered, a steam-powered spider. There's something about it that's cool, to me anyway. Not like those natural gas-powered spiders. Bah! Bad cinema. Steam-powered spider. His big master plan was to build a steam-powered spider that could be disguised as a train. BTW. Yeah, steam-powered spider. Took a long time to build that. Yeah, he beat us. He had a steam-powered spider. What? Yeah, a giant steam-powered spider. Well, what do we have? Well, we have a giant steam-powered mouse lemur. That doesn't seem as menacing. Nope, not at all. It's really good at running for cover. Of course, the problem is it's so big there is no cover. So it just kind of gets really small and waits for things to just kind of pass by, and then it scurries. It's good at It's great at scurrying. Although because it's so big, it's not really scurry. It's more of a lumber. But there's hustle in the lumber. I was trying to come up with my own superhero. And I thought I want it to be a spiritual successor to Batman, but also reflect my own personal neuroses. And I came up with Mouse Lemur. Specifically Mouse Lemur because I just wanted to be Lemur, the Lemur. But when I went online, there were other people who have come up with superheroes that are Lemur. So I have to be more specific. And I went with Mouse Lemur, which sounds like the saddest combination of two already sad species. Take everything about a lemur, everything about a mouse, and put it together. And I think what you have is fear, giant eyeballs, and fur. And that's the mouse lemur. I feel like a mouse lemur is walking around going, how did I evolve to be this? How did I get this? How am I the version of myself? How am I the version of this species that survived these thousands of years? Are you kidding me? Mouse lemur. Again, how do we know the mouse lemur? I think the mouse lemur would be insulted if it knew that we called it a mouse lemur. For all we know, it calls itself the Leviathan. We're Leviathans. No, you're mouse lemurs. Well, I know. Yeah, you're right. We are. We're mouse lemurs. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're totally right. Totes right. You're totes correct. There's a snack cake company that's called Bimbo. B-I-M-B-O. Bimbo. I believe it is a Mexican company, and I think Bimbo is either a Mexican word or a derivation of a Mexican word. And when they were naming it, I looked this up. When they were naming the company, they did not know about the American word, bimbo. Although, if they had, that would have been, think of the commercials. Bimbo. Well, what are we selling again? Bimbo. Yeah. I don't feel too good about that riff because I feel like it denigrates women. Well, can there be male bimbos? There we go. Excellent question. Because it's not like there's bimbo and bimba. Yeah, there can be male bimbos. I know several. I perhaps am one. The fact that I'm even having this conversation now with myself suggests I could be a bimbo. Bimbo was probably coined by Sarah Lee, who was jealous. Those snack cakes sucks. You know who makes it? A bimbo. That's who. Because I'm Sarah Lee. Is your last name Lee, or is Sarah Lee the first name, and the first and middle name? And is the last name Mankiewicz? I'm Sarah Lee Mankiewicz. Yeah, there you go. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, bowels are feeling horrible again. I deserve it. I keep having desserts at the end of the night. I lose self-control. I need to keep this terrible feeling with me when I'm about to order the dessert so that I don't order the dessert. Why am I mumbling? To sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block. There's a tongue twister for you. How about this one? I slit the sheet I slit. Upon the slitted sheet I sit. Oh, that one's got some traps in it, doesn't it? That one's fun to do, isn't it? That's got some traps. Reminds me of the days when I and the other kids around me were first starting to use curse words. And the power we felt. And the mischievousness. And the fact that we were doing something wrong. And then we discovered that the curse word is really the least bad thing you could do when compared to gross abuse of power. Murder, death, destruction, mayhem. Etc., etc., etc. But that's all right. Why am I saying that's all right? Oh, because I'm mentally already stressing out about work. Oh, good. Glad I'm getting a head start on that. Well, this was mildly amusing. It's time to make like a mouse lemur and hide from my problems for the next 30 years.